Saturday night.
Welcome one and all to the final SMASHMOUTH Saturday night of the season. I am your host, Skip Lloyd, here with the relentless rock in the booth, Commissioner Chris Back. Tonight, we are watching the Railstorm host division rival, the Columbus Crusaders, for a little end-of-season rumble on the rails. And like I said, I'm your play-by-play man, Skip Lloyd, joined by Chris Back, Commissioner, in the booth. How you doing, Back?
Hey man, I'm doing great, and we are in Omaha where there's nothing to do but watch football and baseball, so let's go.
That's right, and we've got a few keys to the game for the Crusaders. It's easy. Get after Bobby Jones, move the pocket on offense, and take some chances downfield. Meanwhile, the Railstorm have to win up front in the trenches. They have to harass Kenny Landry, who's getting the start tonight, and this is their last primetime game at home this year. Let's do it for the fans as the kick is off. They are returning it up past the 25 to almost the 30. Tell us about Bobby Jones, the veteran quarterback who on paper is the leader they need, but in practice, it's been a little hit or miss this season.
Yeah, Bobby Jones, you see his numbers, 28-9 touchdown interception ratio. He's a great quarterback, and he's just like one of those other teams like Hutchinson with the hoplites, that on paper he should be much better than he is, but he's a good quarterback, but you got to think the Railstorm might be looking to move away in the next year or two.
Yeah, and you got to think they finally got some help on the ground with a playmaker like Jamal Watson in the draft, who had a little bit of the injury bug this season, but overall certainly proven that he can be an every down back in this league.
Yeah, and we watched Jamal Watson in the last couple seasons of the college league, and he is a great back from North Carolina, and North Carolina is loaded up again for the upcoming college season.
Oh, and it's
and the fumble on the
just
field.
like that. You got guys like Jawan Black at middle linebacker, certainly one of the premier middle linebackers in the league. We have got 3rd and 5. Bobby Jones, empty set. He's got time. He throws it deep downfield. Jones has a cannon, but he overthrows the receiver and the coverage. Looks like they're going to have to punt it away, Back.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It looked like he was throwing it to the Crusader defender there instead of his own wide receiver.
And here we go, getting the punt. Not exactly how they wanted to start that first drive. And meanwhile, we're looking at Kenny Landry, a midseason trade for the Crusaders, coming out at quarterback instead of George Truman.
Yeah, Truman, Landry's the young buck, the new guy in town, and he's got a year left on his contract. So Truman's the old vet. He didn't do it, didn't get them in the playoffs, so why not let Landry play the last couple of games?
Yeah, absolutely. And Hayward here getting a little bit of shake and bake, but Landry certainly had an interesting start to his season as the starter in Toronto for the Blizzard. Gets a light injury, ends up getting benched for Nelson Hunter, gets traded right before the deadline, week 7. The Crusaders, I don't know if you remember this, lost the first 6 games of the year. Week 7, they've just traded for Landry as he right now throws out to the left, incomplete. And George Truman was playing week 7, got hurt right before halftime. Kenny Landry comes in, gets them their first win of the season.
Yeah, that was a great game. I think we may have called that game.
I believe so. We've called so many, but it was.
You remember that game?
It's memorable,
Crusaders.
Absolutely.
We were talking before the game, the Crusaders and the Dukes seem to be the teams that had the most SMASHMOUTH Saturday night games this year, so good on them for the inaugural season.
That's right, and one of the things we don't do here is determine the schedule. That is determined by the schedule makers. We're just calling the games, and right now it looks like no harm, no foul, as Jamal Watson leads the league for running backs with receiving touchdowns, outplaying several veterans.
Yeah, he's a great back, and like you said, without that injury, he and Alvin Thompson both were injured for a big chunk of the season, and they're still in award nomination talks. So
absolutely. Shows you the talent.
And just imagine what they could have done.
Now, speaking of seasons, the season has gone by in a blink, and this is our last SMASHMOUTH Saturday night game of the season. We are taking off week 18 as everyone gets ready for the playoffs as Watson out of the backfield, a very familiar play for them. One of the only plays on offense that has consistently worked for the Railstorm.
Yeah, they like hitting those halfbacks out of the backfield. They've done it all season as he releases out to the wide side there again.
That 3rd and 2 becomes a 1st and 10 as he hits the tight end out near the boundary. Big chain mover for the Railstorm. Got to see now both these teams, they don't care that they're out of the playoffs. This one's a division rivalry. They're going to play tough tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time you play a division rivalry, especially in the first season when you're setting the standard and setting the way that you're going to go into the future, you've got to beat your rival.
That's right. And he gets brought down right at midfield. That's Jamal Watson. Meanwhile, another rookie is here in the chat calling you and I the good fellas. That's Brandon Smith in the chat, referring to Skip and back on commentary as the good fellas. We'll take it, and here's a good run by Jamal Watson, another rookie who has high regard for Brandon Smith.
Hey, Skip, what happened with the grunge today where Brandon Smith plays?
What happened? What didn't happen with the grunge today?
That was a great game.
If anybody didn't catch it, that is one worth dialing up on replay. That grunge game did not turn out how anyone expected.
Yeah, it was a really fun one, and it was fun. I love watching these games live with the fans and most of the league and the Discord. So we get to talk and talk some crap during the games, and it's fun.
And another team, the grunge, that certainly solidifying or just about their place in the draft order with only 1 week left to go. They're trying some new stuff out, and you saw a new face under center.
Yeah, we're at that point where everybody starts to say, if they've got some young guys and they want to see, they can flip the roster a little bit and see what they got.
Yeah, rolling with the young kid Taylor Sheldon for the grunge today.
It's like we've got Landry here playing instead of Truman, and see what he can do while the Railstorm does go with Bobby Jones, but I don't think they really have a young.
I was just going to say there's not much. The cupboard is sort of bare for quarterback. After Bobby Jones, they've got 5'11", 200-pound veteran, 26-year-old Josh Harris. Might as well be, a journeyman. He's got a single-year deal, signed just for this season. So I think it's Bobby Jones or bust for the Railstorm as he winds him up the sideline, and that is in for a touchdown. Omaha Railstorm running off the track. Josh Sutton getting the touchdown catch right there.
Yeah, that was a laser strike right over the defenders. In
Great
stride,
shot.
Barely had to hop. Great
Absolutely. Player. Bobby Jones showing why he's still a valuable commodity here, as we've got Smokey Smith also showing up in the chat tonight.
And speaking of Smokey Smith and the Albuquerque Dukes, what the hell? They have somehow slipped up into, I don't know if they've clinched the division. I think they may have.
Banana peeled their way right into the playoffs, and by basically clinching their division on a great return here for Columbus, getting up to the 43-yard line. We'll see what Kenny Landry can do, trying to get that rust shaken off. He's had kind of a stop-start season, but he certainly seems to have the potential, and the Crusaders are taking a long look at him the next 2 weeks to see if, even at 28 years old, he can become a longer-term quarterback than what they have with the 30-plus-year-old vet George Truman.
Yeah, and there's some rumblings down the pipe here. Someone has contacted us and is interested on possibly taking over the Crusaders. So you got to think they're going to be watching today to see what happens.
Absolutely. See if anything catches their eye right now. Not much, as the Crusaders are down 7-0, but Landry uncorks a moonshot down the sideline and just overthrown. Both quarterbacks guilty of overthrowing their receivers here early in this one.
Yeah, but that's always a good problem to have. You definitely don't want to underthrow it. So just, if you can, just take your shot, launch it out there, and see if you can get under it.
That's right.
As he's going to go down here.
Under duress. That's big Dwayne Keys bringing him down. That body has been bagged. One of the only downsides for Kenny Landry, while he does have a modicum of speed, he's not really what you'd call a burner, but he's also lacks a little bit of height, so sometimes he has to roll out to the edges of the pocket to have a cleaner view downfield, which sometimes will result in rollout sacks like that. You take the good with the bad, and right now it hasn't been very good for the Crusaders, punting away to the Railstorm, who are going to call the fair catch.
Yeah, you got to see Bobby Jones. You got to think he's probably going to take a shot here once or twice to kind of loosen this Crusader defense up some. Juwan Black and the front seven of this Columbus team is definitely their strength, and you gotta loosen them up a little bit, get them off the line.
Absolutely. In fact, getting Watson out in a tiny bit of motion there, so essentially an empty set, and he hits Watson out of the backfield, getting about 8 healthy yards there on first down, making a very easy-looking 2nd and 2.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do as they come here tight formation again, but they need to kind of spread it out. But there's the run again with Watson.
Ooh, leveled.
Got a yard.
3rd and 1. It's critical. Bobby Jones walking up under center. They've certainly got a power formation aligned to the right. Hands it off, gets through a hole, and he has definitely got the first down as the defense wraps him up.
Yeah, and just both of these teams are some of the more traditional and not traditional because of the neon green, but some of the more I don't know how to say it, but just a shout out to the guys that are working on our mod for us, because they do watch the games, and both of these teams are done, and they look amazing going into year 2.
They look fantastic, or so I've heard. Got a 2nd and 14 here for Bobby Jones, who's going to look much slicker next season, but right now throwing it in the dirt. 3rd and 14.
Yeah, in these divisional games, it is the first season, so you don't know them as well, but you definitely know your divisional opponents better than everybody else. And you played them once in the season already, so you kind of know what to expect. And both of these teams are playing tight here as we're about to approach under 2 minutes in the first quarter.
That's right. It's certainly been quite a season so far. They punt it out around the 16.
And we're on about the 113th punt of the game already as Landry takes out his squad again to try to see if he can move them down the field. Columbus does run kind of a more traditional style offense where they try to run the ball more, but with Landry, I think you got to try to take some shots.
Absolutely, and he's got a little bit of mobility, so you got to think, knowing that he's going to tend to slip out of the pocket, got to take advantage of some of those boot and action plays.
Yeah, when Truman was in there, Truman was, good shot right there. Truman was a bigger body. He was able to see down the field a little more, had a little bit better vision, but he just, you're out of the playoffs, like we said earlier, and you've got 2 games left, so put the young guy in.
That's right, especially one who's got some years left on his contract. If you like what you see, maybe you feel comfortable moving on from a very big contract that George Truman would certainly want. It's going to be his last one, most likely.
Yeah, and if Truman comes back, I don't see him coming back because they stack the right side of the line here.
But he could be a great stopgap sort of bridge guy somewhere else. Right now, it looks like Shane Poole getting up the sideline, the tight end, the big tight end, making a big play. Exactly what the Crusaders need right here.
Turning that corner and burning, man. He just turned on the Jets when he got around that corner. I don't think the defender was ready for that.
And like that, we're through one quarter here in Omaha as the Railstorm are thundering their way towards a victory, a little bit of revenge after a Week 11 loss in Columbus.
Yeah, and there was quite a few sweeps in the divisional races that happened this week, so it was nice to have it's pretty cool to have a divisional week where you get to see everybody play their rivals again. The blocks are set up here, and he's gone. To the 1 yard line.
Hayward has been an absolute stud for the Crusaders this season. One of the lone bright spots, consistent all season long. And that one certainly fighting his way, trying to get in there, just couldn't make it happen today. But he is hoping to get another touchdown. He is just a few shy of 10 on the season. And it looks like he's going to get one right there as he levitates. Top shelf. I know it's not hockey, but he certainly hit the high bar there. Kind of ricocheted his way in for a score.
He took off and just launched his body for the points right there. Now we have a tie game, 7-all.
That's right. Like I said, a Week 11 battle. I believe it was 36-30 was the final score of that one, with the Crusaders winning at home with George Truman with one of his few wins on the season. Very few wins.
Speaking of very few wins, and we were talking about sweeps as well, go back and watch the Hoplites game against the San Antonio Law this morning.
Wow.
Going into this week, I will ruin this one for you. Going into this week, the Hoplites were 1-14. The only team they had beat were the San Antonio Law. After today, they're 2-14, sweeping the San Antonio Law.
So the worst team in the league sweeps their division opponent. Both teams very, very near the top of the draft for year 2.
I believe Houston has pretty much locked it in.
They have, yes. They have officially locked in the number 1 pick. But the Law are within striking distance in that 2 to 5 range.
Yeah, I believe they're somewhere in there.
And ironic because both teams, it looked like both teams could not get it together out of the gate in year 1, and that really hampered their ability down the stretch, especially the Hoplites with so many injuries. You could almost say the Hoplites may be trending up here towards the end of the season, even though they've locked in that first pick.
Oh, yeah, and the Hoplites, if you go back and look at their scores, they lost by less than 10 almost every game.
With tons of injuries, they still have a talented roster. I think Huntington is a good QB, but you got to wonder if, with a chance like that, to hit reset, if the Hoplites don't end up going quarterback 1 overall.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance to be one of the biggest movers and biggest contenders after the year 2 draft that'll happen next year.
And, you got to wonder, look at last year's, the very first draft ever in the Pro League. Started with the Canton Crush picking Jimmy McNamara, and now they are the number 2 seed in the Apex.
Yeah, that's insane. The only team that's played better than them, obviously, is the number 1 seed, and that's the Brawlers are just, I don't even know what to say about the Brawlers. They are just steamrolling teams.
You got to wonder if they're almost regretting having that locked up that 1 seed now and having the bye, because they certainly might want to keep playing because they're playing so well. Hope a week off doesn't hurt them too much.
Yeah, you gotta wonder what that week off's gonna do with them, and if they start Frost and company in the Week 18 finale.
Great question. As a matter of fact, we did hear from Coach Gaffney in the post-game presser. Says no plans of benching anybody, Frost included.
There you go. You heard it here. He's going to take a shot, take the chance, and try to steamroll the next team.
That's right. Well, they're playing their division opponent, the Sharks, in Week 18, so I think that one means a lot to them.
Yeah, and Trent Curtis, the quarterback for the Sharks, man, he was skyrocketing up the leaderboards and the award nominations, and then he just kind of fell off the face of the earth the last couple of weeks.
That's why you can never be too sure, but I think at this point, as of last week, they were saying it was a 3-man race between Frost, Crothers, and Stanley Jenkins from the Bombers, but I think now it's down to probably just Frost, but you could make a case for Crothers.
Yeah, I mean, Frost, he's got ungodly numbers, like something like 50-something touchdowns and 2 interceptions or something like that.
Yeah, there is a chance that he could break 60 touchdowns in their Week 18 game if he plays the whole game.
There's a chance he could break 3 interceptions too, so.
that is true. Meanwhile, the back and forth tightrope test rages on as Bobby Jones and company coming out. Empty set, 1st and 10 from about the 32-yard line.
And this is the way they've started the last couple drives, is with this empty set, and they take some shots, but then they go right back to as they set the screen up here.
Set the screen, and it works. Getting a big chunk there to the 45 for a first down.
A little bait and switch with the halfback floating out there, and then they hit the receiver on the tunnel screen there. That was a nice play.
Yeah, that tunnel screen works well because all eyes are drawn to Watson. He's been explosive. Ooh, that time not able to get around the edge. Brought down for no gain.
And this has been the strong point of the Crusaders this season, is the defense, as they come out a little stacked with the tight end to the top side of the screen here. They run opposite.
Getting stopped again. Stonewall.
Tell you, man, when I see some of these games and I see positions where you can tell that they definitely need an upgrade, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in year 2.
Absolutely. Jones got time. 3rd and 9, dropping further back in the pocket. Throws one, but swatted away. Defense saving the day, making the play. Blake is the man on 3rd down. Gonna force the punt for Omaha.
Yeah, you got to get 2 hands on that ball, man. Come on. That was an interception.
Little too much backpedal there as the return is brought out to about the 17.
Did not expect him to run that out.
Shane Poole at tight end, the veteran tight end, going on 11 years as a pro. He has been one of the leading receivers for the team this season, has not been able to get it into the end zone enough. But certainly between him, Tim Hayward, Kenny Landry, you got to think they have the makings of something on offense, and they've got some good players on defense. Certainly an attractive opportunity with a team like the Crusaders. So look out if you're watching tonight, future GMs. 2 teams certainly that have pieces in place, will have some draft capital, and ultimately could be a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and if you're interested to see where these teams are looking at for their draft picks right now, be sure to check Rivals Radio tomorrow at 10 a.m.
That's right.
The weekly update will hit, as it does every Sunday morning, and get you up to date on everything you need to know about the league, the standings, the draft order, the injuries, the stat leaders, the award leaders, everything.
Wally and D doing a great job as always, and unlike, looked like Tim Hayward on that one, getting stopped in the backfield. Going to be a 3rd and 4 as Landry stays in the shotgun here.
And we're approaching the 4-minute mark of the first half now.
Landry chucks it. Ooh. He's just been throwing them a little high today. Maybe that's just a little nervous energy, finally getting back into the lineup. He's been chomping at the bit to get more playing time.
Yeah, and that's just nerves and the unfamiliarity with the offense and getting reps with the starters and everything. But
yep, not
he's
having
a good
high
young
morale.
quarterback, and he's definitely going to get in here and get some stats.
Landry certainly.
Bobby Jones. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Landry certainly a serviceable bridge quarterback if a new GM was to come in and take a look at the talented draft class of quarterbacks. Potentially let Landry play for a season or a half, and you draft a guy in the 1st or 2nd, maybe even the 3rd round. There's so many good quarterbacks that are potentially going to be coming out in this year's draft. It's a whole nother reason to stick with us as we turn the page after the postseason to the college series.
Yeah, and we will be moving into the new game this season before we lock it in for a couple years at this game, which will be like going from caveman days to space exploration for us, because
Absolutely.
We've been on NCAA 14 for the previous 2 seasons.
And there's going to be certainly players that you've got to watch out for. When you think of players that are going to be blowing up the college series, I know one of them who's earning earning rival points. And Bucks, do we have a name for currency? That's a slip of the tongue, because I don't know what our currency's called.
Right now, we're just calling it credits so that everybody knows what they're earning, but we haven't decided on that yet. No.
Well, Skip's going to call it rival coin. And,
there we go. Maybe we'll start our own little cryptocurrency.
Yeah. The point being, if there's a player that's going to boost their way up very quickly in the college series. He's in the chat tonight. It's Ronnie Taylor, who leads the entire Football Rivals universe as far as having accumulated points for leveling up his player.
Yeah, he's leading, and I believe Smokey or Brandon are right behind him.
And they're all in attendance tonight for the final Smash Mouth game of the season. 2-minute warning here in Omaha. We are deadlocked on the tracks, and it is a collision course. 2 teams, only 1 winner possible tonight.
Yeah, and by showing up, everybody gets 10 credits just for showing up to the game. So thanks for everybody for supporting. And that may seem low, but our stuff is based on low numbers. It's not 10,000 whatever's per game. You're just going to get a set amount, and then everybody knows the upgrade packages that are, and we'll go from there.
That's right. Meanwhile, Bobby Jones has been moving the team downfield here, but they're stalling out potentially here. 3rd and 6 from the 20-yard line. Got to get inside the 14 to get the first, sending Watson in motion behind him in the shotgun. Hits his man over the middle, but incomplete. Broken up. Justice is served. And breaking up the pass right there.
Yeah, that was how you separate a receiver from the ball right there, as he just smacked him over the middle. And we finally get some points.
That's right. They settle and break the deadlock as they are inside the 2-minute warning here. Going up by 3. It's now 10-7, Omaha.
Yeah, and to go back real quick one last time about the college talk, we will, there is a college look-ahead episode, and if you're interested in looking, I would definitely go back. It just came out last week, I believe, a more in-depth one. So if you're looking into getting into it, go there and watch, and make sure you pay attention, because the team you sign up for may not be where you think it is, because we are a relegation college league.
That's right. Landry relegating that pass to the outside, getting 4 on the completion.
Now let's see if Columbus can take the ball down here and score. They have decent field position. They have a minute and a half left. They have 3 timeouts. Let the young guy go down and take some shots downfield and try to hit some. Oh, the halfback barely got his coverage there. He takes a shot. He caught it.
No, he didn't.
Oh, no, he didn't. He dropped it at the last millisecond.
And he uncorked that one. Landry's been going deep tonight, showing he's going to take deep shots. Get him some receivers who can run and catch, because he'll throw it. Something to keep in mind if you're willing to take over the Crusaders in year 2. You've got a quarterback right now with a year left on his deal who is willing to deal the ball downfield, and we know how important that is in a league like this.
And they have a heck of a punter.
Yeah, they do. But too often you get quarterbacks who are playing that check down game, and when you got a guy like Landry who's got a little bit of mobility and willing to sling it, and it's up there, one-on-one coverage, they haven't brought him down so far.
And with the exception of the Philadelphia Fury,
strip sack,
streaking in and separated the ball there.
Luckily recovered by the offensive lineman Bobby Jones, getting hammered there.
Clock's ticking. But with the exception of the Fury, most of the playoff teams that have just been dominating their divisions are from user-controlled GMs. So get in the league, get on a team, take control. The user teams have proven that the strategy and the way that you run a team as a actual human being outweigh just watching a computer team. So get in the league.
Great point there by the commissioner. And we've got, 4 user teams? 5 in the playoffs?
Yeah, and there's 6, I believe.
6 only user teams.
Yeah, well, 5. You're right, 5. There's 6 user GMs in year 1, which surpassed what we were expecting, and 5 of the 6 made the playoffs.
Absolutely, showing you two can probably do it. And those teams that made the playoffs were not exactly expected to at the start of the season. Like we said, one of them went from worst to almost first. with the Canton Crush. Can you lead the next Cinderella story here in Football Rivals? Speaking of which, if you have a thirst for nonstop football action, you might also have a thirst for Dubby, the official energy drink partner of Football Rivals. If you go to dubby.gg, use promo code RIVALS to get your jitterless energy blend like Galaxy Grenade, Tiger Blood, and so many more.
Yeah, and if you follow them on Instagram also, they have so many flavors, and they're coming out all the time. I forget his name right now, so my apologies, man. But he contacts me daily on Instagram and email with new flavors that they're coming out with. They just came out with it's like sludge slime green or something like that. It looks delicious.
That's right. There is a sludgy, slimy green one. Let's see if old Skip can cue up the right one here. Nope, it's not that one because that's Tiger Blood. But if we're lucky, Skip can maybe cue up. Nope, he doesn't have that one either. We're just getting a double dose of ads here.
There you go. We earned our sponsorship this week.
That's right, and we took it straight to halftime as we have got the Railstorm up by 3. Refill that drink, grab your snack, and get right back. It's Smash Mouth Saturday Night.
Absolutely. I didn't mean to leave you hanging there, Skip, but I was getting a drink of coffee myself, warming the old tubes up in the throat. Let's get ready for some second half action.
That's right. We are up and running with the second half just like that. And Kenny Landry, who has had quite the interesting season, was a starter for one team, traded mid-season, became the backup, and now getting back out as a starter for another team. That is a lot to handle in the course of a season. And right now, he is throwing it, but they are still down on the scoreboard.
Yeah, all in one season. That's a lot for a player to take in, and he's done it in stride as he's taken the team. And, I mean, they're still in a 3-point game here with the division rivals. So you got to think, like you said, if there are any guys out there with aspiring GMs that look at taking over Columbus, and I'm talking to you out there who messaged me the other day, this is a good team to take over, and you can start draft strategizing right now.
That's right. As Kenny Landry hands it off to Hayward out of the shotgun on 1st and 10, getting a nice, healthy chunk of 5 on that one.
By the way, as of right now, we are 17 days away from the college applications closing, so
it is coming up fast.
We're around 50-plus user submits, which blew my mind again for our, going into year 3. So it'll be fun to build those guys. I'll build them live as we just kind of chop it up in the chat while I build them, so you can watch what happens, our process. We are a league of transparency, and we want you guys to be able to see what your players look like.
That's right. And speaking of players, once you get drafted and go pro, here at Football Rivals, you have the exclusive ability to not only get some pretty sweet customized gear, but you can also ink up your player with some tattoos. One of the many advantages that'll be coming in the Year 2 Football Rivals Pro League mod.
Yeah, everything I've seen from gameplay footage of the mod and as from the way the gameplay is, the options that we can have in the backfield, in the background, as far as tattoos. I don't know if we've done the jewelry yet, but the gameplay looks amazing. The uniforms are all aesthetically upgraded from like 3 levels up. They're all great. The attention to detail is insane. And the ability to make your player customize as much as you want is well worth just sticking around and watching the league.
Absolutely. And when you talk about, hey, we're don't get us wrong, the league very proud in year 1 with what has been done with these team builder teams, but there's just something you can't quite get to sometimes. And I tell you what, that level of finesse is what's going to be on display in year 2. Some exquisite uniform options that you will see next year, probably get some teasers of sometime during the college season.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to be teased. As a touchdown here. Is he going to get in? No, he gets short at the 1 yard line.
That DeBose, I believe.
Here. But I see Ronnie Taylor in the chat saying, I'm trying to get inked up. That's why he comes to every single game and gets 500 credits a week.
That's right. Ronnie Taylor's certainly going to have ink when he hits the pros. Meanwhile, the Crusaders going backwards, forwards, and back again. Let's see what they can do here. First down, getting it close to the
Stopped
goal
him
line.
at the millimeter line. Jeez.
These defenses are not giving an inch.
Here we go. Fullback. We saw a couple fullback touchdowns today in some action.
That's right.
Not this time, as he's touchdown.
Right
there you
up
go.
in there, outstanding. That's DeBose. DeBose knows for the end zone. Great blocking. Offensive line, a little bit of a trap block. Some pulling action and getting in, punching it in, and taking a lead here with the extra point. They'll be up by 4.
That's where I was saying earlier, that's where Columbus is good this season, when they kind of stack the box, line up on a strong side, and just run the ball. And it sets up Truman, Landry now, but it has set up Truman for his brief glimpses of greatness when he's been able to just take shots down the field and kind of run some, I'm going to date myself here and use a term called the waggle pass. But it's, you know, the way that they set that up and just roll out and hit those tight ends and receivers going downfield after everybody bites on the play action. That's how Columbus runs the ball, and that's how the Crusaders play their best football.
The old waggle gaggle. Meanwhile, Bobby Jones trying to gaggle in the huddle with his team. Hands it off out of the shotgun, but the defense sniffs it out and stops him behind the line for a loss of 1 second and 11.
Was that Juwan Black right there? I didn't catch the number. Yep, it was. Number 55,
Yes, sir.
Juwan Black. He is insane. He's at the top of every game. He's the top of the tackle boards.
Again, another veteran that the Crusaders can rely on. And this defense certainly knows how to turn it on in these primetime games.
Yeah, the Crusaders, like I said earlier, the Crusaders' defense is their strong point. They just have to get a GM in here to help figure out this offense. We did not mess with the offenses for the computer teams. And it's the proof is the Philadelphia Fury again. They are like a 26% match with their offensive scheme. And I believe they run like the Atlanta playbook on offense and defense.
And they
which
still
is
tear it up.
which is their offensive scheme. And it matches, but they're 26%. And Nigel Crothers and who's their receiver? Branch. Number 85, Branch.
Yeah.
They are, and I believe Farr, F-A-R-R, they're the top 2 leading behind Silva. They're like the next 2 leading receivers, and they are just eating it up every game. But I'm very excited. We have to wait 3 more weeks almost to see the Fury in playoff action. But they have secured that #1 seed, as have the Brawlers. And man, I'm chomping at the bit to get into the playoff action. We've got some great playoff teams that are projected to be in their spots right now, and we'll let you know as they come out if they're locked into their current positions going into week 18.
That's right. Meanwhile, Landry out of the shotgun, having to roll out and just getting rid of it. Looks like they're going to punt it away, sitting comfortably on a 4-point lead. Touchdowns hard to come by so far through the third quarter. About halfway through, we've got 6:43 as they punt it away here on 4th and 6.
Yeah, and as boring as defensive games are, I love them. I love a 17-14, 17-13 finish. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody likes to see a close game where everybody's lighting up the scoreboard. But in today's game where defenses don't really count as much, I love to see a great defensive game.
And also just shows the diversity around the league as he hits Watson going out up the sideline. That is maybe the biggest receiving play on the game for them. And, of course, it's to the rookie halfback.
Yep, he swung out there on a little swing pass and just never looked back.
They love that play. Not even good placement. Watson just showing what an elite playmaker he is as a rookie.
And when Watson gets out there in the open, he just starts striding like a gazelle, and he is out of there. Imagine in a couple years when he builds his speed up as Jones takes off.
which he normally does not. Bobby Jones a little bit
and he's
more.
hurt.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. No, he's staying in.
He's
the old
in.
field general statuesque quarterback. That's Bobby Jones to a T. He is not running you for many yards, and he did that time. This time hands it back off to Watson, who's maybe going to start getting a little bit of a workhorse load here to try to ground and pound their way through a very stingy Crusaders defense.
Yeah, and Watson's vision right there was great as he was going off that right tackle and cuts it right back up to go where the center used to be, where the hole was. As he's swinging out right here again. Wasn't open. The linebacker went with him. As Jones is in trouble, and he's going to get a... Oh, he's not down yet?
Oh,
what just happened?
Now they're going to call that one a sack. He tries to throw it while he's laying on top of two guys. Zach Smith getting credit for the sack on that one. Kind of messy. See, yeah, Bobby Jones just say, no, I'm still laying on top of them, so it's an incompletion. But the ref said, no, your knee went down. We're gonna call. Nice try. Shows a headsy move by Bobby Jones.
Yeah, hoping someone was there to just grab the ball as he lofted it into
also
the air.
Dangerous. Yeah, headsy and dangerous.
Very dangerous.
2nd and 18 from the 50, sending Watson out to the left. Empty now. Bobby Jones got time, throwing it out towards the flat, overthrown, probably a little deliberately. That man was covered.
Yeah, as the Dukes, I believe, have been 2 weeks in a row now. They've had some bad calls go against them. So if that would have been the Dukes, you take that errant shot, kind of lobbing the ball up in the air. With their luck, it would have been intercepted and returned and
upheld.
upheld.
Be careful. And, if you're watching a game like this, saying 14-10, 4 minutes in the third quarter, anything can happen in this league. We see games that seem defensive and suddenly explode. We see a lot of games that are wall-to-wall scoring, but it is nice to see the diversity across the league. Sometimes there are defensive slugfests. Sometimes you get teams like the Fury or the Brawlers who just put on a display week in, week out.
Yeah, and that's what I like you said, the parity in the league. There is, there's 2 or 3 really great teams that just destroy everybody. And then there's 2 or 3 bad teams that don't do anything. And then the rest of the league is all pretty even in the middle. So there's going to be room for everybody to grow as we expand here over the next couple of years.
Absolutely. If you look at, to your point, you got teams like Buffalo and Philly, only 1 or 2 losses. Canton only 3 losses, right? St. Louis, 4 losses. A tie in there.
Yeah.
But then you got a lot of 9-7, 9-7, 8-8, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9. You've got all these teams fighting for it in there, which just shows you how competitive the league already is, and how even some of these teams sitting more in the 4-11, 4-10, 4-12, whatever. Maybe those teams will be quicker rebounds than you think.
Yeah, I think next season we're going to see the good teams start to separate, and especially the teams that have user GMs. They're definitely going to start to separate from the crop.
Meanwhile, Kenny Landry trying to separate, throwing it. It looks like to Shane Poole for a gain of 5 on first down, getting him just short of the 50. You can always tell Landry because he's got that mop of hair hanging out the back of his helmet.
Yeah, and by the way, trying to get Wally and D to understand that there was a tie today, that was interesting.
You got to really explain things to the Rivals radio crew.
Yeah. They do a great job, but sometimes they just don't get it.
Well, it was hard to fathom. That was an incredible game as Landry boots
take
out
off.
to the left and slides safely for a first down. Get down, young man.
Yeah, we really don't have one of those, like elite running style quarterbacks yet. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see over the next couple of years. As you said earlier, we have as of right now, 13 quarterbacks from the previous 2 seasons that'll be in the draft. And
wow.
it should go up some. So there's going to be 13. There's going to be at least 20 quarterbacks that you can choose from as we go into the 4th quarter here.
Can you believe it? It's the end of the 3rd quarter. 14-10 Crusaders leading it. Yeah, I guess if you're talking about mobile quarterbacks, you're probably talking Stanley Jenkins, George Burrell. you know.
Yeah, I would think George Burrow would be the top of my list.
Yeah, George Burrow's probably number one. Stanley Jenkins, even though he's a little older, he's still got some moves. But, you know, a lot of the better quarterbacks in the league, even Andrew Frost, not a big runner. He'll run to move. Jimmy McNamara, a little bit of a runner. Crothers, a statue. Carlos Green, statue. Marcus McLeod, statue. Buck McCarthy, statue. Well, I guess Buck runs a little, but
Buck runs a little. Buck runs to make separation for his receivers.
Right. Still, he runs to throw.
Which that's, you know, they do run that offense that they run is designed to have the quarterback scramble to set up some space.
Ramon Hamilton, maybe. George
maybe
Griffith,
a little bit. Takes
running.
a shot.
Oh, he throws
Touchdown!
Touchdown just like that. As we're counting quarterbacks, we're counting out Kenny Landry, which maybe we should be paying a little more attention to Kenny Landry as he hits Channing Wilkinson for a touchdown to further extend their lead.
Oh, he barely reached back and snagged that one for a touchdown.
Little back shoulder action there.
We're going to have an 11-point lead here now as maybe Columbus is starting to separate themselves from Omaha.
You know who looked like a good running quarterback today, even though they didn't win, they didn't lose. It was Taylor Sheldon with the grunge.
Yeah, that's a little glimpse at what could be in the future for them.
Yeah, certainly seems like they're probably going to move on from Josh Cannon. Didn't have any injuries all season, and they've certainly sort of sputtered out. And you got to wonder now with teams starting to solidify their place, especially if they're out of the playoffs, is anybody in on the ever interesting saga of Andrew Frost?
Are you talking about in as in wanting to trade for him?
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to talk to Coach Gaffney or you know, the GM. I don't know. I've heard murmurs and whispers, but I don't know what's going to happen.
There were a lot of offers made at the deadline. That's what Coach Gaffney did confirm. They had multiple offers made at the deadline, but they said they wanted to see how the season went. And so far, it's gone pretty well.
Yeah, and we'll know in a little bit as we, you know, after the season's over and we're going through the college season, we'll still be working behind the scenes getting the Pro League Year 2 set up for you guys, and the user, you know, the GMs that'll be coming in and take over their team, they'll participate if they get their you know, their dues in on time. They'll participate in free agency and then be able to take on the draft. Is right there. Bobby Jones takes that shot,
slinging it though, and who else? Watson. Yeah, Justice. If there's a big hit getting dished out, that means that Justice is right around the corner.
Yeah. I like this formation here that they're trying. It's had some success, but they run off of it this time.
Ooh, find the hole there.
Watson found the hole for 8 yards. That was a great read. Watson came kind of out of nowhere as he had a decent season with Toby Fortune, who will be a draftable quarterback in Year 2 draft. But he had a decent season, not stellar, not exciting, but a decent, solid season with North Carolina Tar Heels last year. And here he is, lighting up the field for the Railstorm. He's going to be a great running back in the future.
Arguably the best receiving back in the league. He leads the league in receiving touchdowns by a back.
Yeah, I would stamp that. The only one that might be close to him would be Hobbs.
Talk about surprises. Johnny Hobbs has been an absolute revelation, not for his power running, but for some of his receiving.
Yeah, and there's a team that at the beginning of the season, it didn't look like the Riot were going to be able to make the playoffs, but you know, they keep winning, so we'll see what happens, see if they sneak in. Major
turnaround, and just like we're seeing some major movement here in the fourth quarter, Bobby Jones finally has the Railstorm moving down the tracks. Is it too little, too late? No, he's got the catch and in for the touchdown.
He's in.
Just
touchdown.
Like that. Bobby Jones connects, throwing a dart to KJ Thomas, who sneaks it over the goal line.
Finally threw to his receiver there.
But you saw it was designed for Watson out in the flat anyways.
It was. He's always that decoy out there. Oh, they're going for 2 here.
Interesting decision here by the Railstorm. Hand it off, and
he's
it's
got
good.
it. Watson there. That was great. Now they are within a field goal. We have a 3-point game here now as Bobby Jones just took the team down the field and punched it in, got the exclamation point. Now they're only down by 3, and they've got about 9 minutes to go in the game.
This game is cooking here in the fourth quarter as the faithful, the Railstorm faithful, or you can see them jumping up and down there as Kenny Landry wants to put an exclamation point on this game.
Yeah, you saw Truman there on the sideline with him too, maybe giving him some words of encouragement.
You'd hope so. Meanwhile,
points of advice.
Out to the 29, what can Kenny Landry do? He's had a solid game, 23 of 34, 218, the touchdown, and certainly using his legs a little bit to get some big conversions for first downs.
Yeah, and Landry, they've got to start opening up the playbook for Landry and quit being, quit babying him. He needs to take control of this offense.
Shane Poole having a big game, 10 catches, 98 yards on the night.
Yeah, he's been one of the bright spots for their offenses. He's the tight end, if you remember earlier, he turned that corner and just shot down the field. There's your block right there.
Closing in on 1,000 yards. Meanwhile, splitting reps with Tim Hayward. DeBose getting the first down. He's had some strong running himself tonight. Almost got that touchdown in earlier, stopped at the goal line.
Yeah, I think they were stopped at the goal line about 2 or 3 times in a row there.
Continuing to ground and pound. They still have the lead. They want to use this clock on this drive, nearing the 50-yard line.
Yeah, ticking down towards 6.5 minutes now.
Landry got time, drifting a little bit, completes the
Got him.
Incomplete.
Dropped it again. His receivers, that's about the 2nd or 3rd drop in a row on a big play where a receiver was wide open and should have had the ball.
Yeah, hits Moss for what surely would have been a first down, and Moss can't hold on. Poole in motion, orbiting back around. Landry scrambling. He's going to get the first down and slides to protect his head. Big heads-up play for Kenny Landry.
Yeah, that's twice now he's scrambled for the first down, showing that he's mobile enough that he can get in there as they come too tight, too wide here.
Single back, staying in to protect this DeBose. Oh, and Poole shakes the tackle and gets just short of the first down. Whoa, the graphics truck, the cat is back. Get the cat off the keyboard in the graphics truck. Kenny Landry, 2nd and inches here in a power formation under center. Pitches it out left. That is a doom spell.
Boo. Do not pitch the ball on 3rd or 2nd and 1.
Never. Hate the pitch on short yardage. Gives you unnecessary extra length and distance when you're trying to compact and reduce that distance. Now they're looking at 3rd and 4 out of the shotgun, sending Poole in motion and back again. Landry got time, fires it. It's complete, but short of the sticks.
Didn't get it there. This is going to be 4th and 1. You got to think they're maybe too far to try a field goal. It'll be about a 57. Yep, they're going to go for it.
They are going to go for it. Big time here for the Crusaders. Landry, empty set, fires one, complete. Are they going to give it to him the first down?
No,
wow, it looked good.
He had the first down, but he made some football moves and went lateral, so that's the right call, I guess.
DeBose.
Right there, he's got it.
He's got it, and then he
tries to go sideways.
He essentially walks it back a yard. Wow, big mistake for the Crusaders right there, and Bobby Jones gets the ball, and he's getting a chance as we look at Bobby Jones' night, kind of like his season. Some bright spots, some touchdowns, but ultimately not liking what you're seeing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and we're getting down to it now. This is one of your last. You got to figure you might have 1, maybe 2, at the most 3 more chances the way this game's going to try to score.
Bobby Jones drifting back, fires one, complete, and it is deep in enemy territory. Huge completion there, exactly what the doctor ordered.
And just like that, they're at the Crusaders' 31-yard line on one play.
30-30 essentially. Big time play by the veteran quarterback, slinging it
complete flip of the field here as they come out in an I formation now.
Yeah, just a field goal away from tying this game up, handing it off to Watson, who finds space and gets the first down. A big carry, first for a first.
And Watson, you know, I don't know if he's going to get it, but he's definitely trying to get the commission's vote on a dev for season 2.
Yeah, you got to think he's certainly worthy of being considered a star player in this league, even if the rest of the team is letting him down. That's 2 10-plus yard runs in a row. Even though they see it coming, they can't stop it. He's like a downhill train.
And it was him with the great blocking. He has the vision. He is reading his blocks and making the cuts as necessary as he's breathing a little heavy in the backfield.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but they're giving it to him again. Up the gut, just short.
So close.
Talk about an every down back. His receiving skills are out of this world, and yet they weren't afraid to just keep running in the rock with him. Finally getting a spell here. Might lose his touchdown. He does.
He's in.
No, he got subbed out because of he needed a breather, and Kelvin Bishop gets the points on what was clearly Jamal Watson's drive.
Yeah, that was a great drive by Watson. He's single-handed. Oh, as he gets picked up by the kneecaps and pile driven into the ground. And the Railstorm are about to be up by 4.
Huge
Field goal does
swing.
you no good, Crusaders.
Huge swing right there. 25-21 now for Omaha. Big 5-play, 64 yards on that drive. Started with that huge completion by Bobby Jones.
Yeah, and if you're in the chat here going into what could possibly be the Crusaders' last chance of the game, hit #Rivals and we'll give you an extra 20 credits for watching the game and sticking with us.
That's right, and Rivals is the code. Even if you're at Dubby.gg, Rivals is your code to get the official energy drink of Football Rivals Pro League. You can get jitterless energy blends of things like Galaxy Grenade, Tiger Blood, and so much more. It's Dubby.gg, promo code Rivals.
Yeah, as Landry took an errant shot over the middle there, and he's just missing his receivers by a step or two all game.
Fires it, and it's complete that time, up the seam. A big completion by Kenny Landry to Channing Wilkinson.
What a play. That was insane. Over the middle, he just found the hole in the zone and took off after the reception. Right there, he just beat his guy. That might have been man coverage, and he just blew him off the line of the scrimmage.
Yeah, man beater right there with 2 minutes and change left here in the game. Landry has got them within field goal range. See if they snap it before the 2-minute warning. They do. Landry fires it complete. That's Shane Poole up the sideline.
It's going to be a touchdown.
And that is a touchdown to Shane Poole, the veteran tight end. Kenny Landry having himself a night.
What a turn of events here as we had nothing going for the first 2.5 quarters. And then out of nowhere, both offenses, you got to think the defenses have finally gotten tired and worn down going into the fourth quarter.
Just
and both offenses are just having their way.
And Shane Poole, veteran tight end, having probably his best game of the season with Kenny Landry here at quarterback.
And we've had, what, three lead changes here in the last couple minutes?
Yeah, I was just going to say 3 lead changes in the last 4 minutes of the game.
63 yards and 44 seconds right there.
Crusaders up now 28-25, having to kick it away. The Railstorm still have all 3 timeouts, returning the ball up past the 25, brought down around the 27. Let's see if Bobby Jones can work a little more magic. What a great season he's had. You would never guess the team's record based on Bobby Jones. I don't think if you're coming in as the GM of the Railstorm, you're looking to move on from him, are you?
No, I would keep him. He's definitely a good guy. He's what, 27, 28 years old? He's
a little older than that. He is Bobby Jones. Hold on, I'm looking on my stat sheet. He's actually 32 years old.
I might be looking at Landry's stats, but yeah, he's a good quarterback. He's definitely, like you said earlier, a definite mentor or bridge quarterback that could get you, 1 or 2 seasons of getting a rookie quarterback that you draft that you want to mold your team to. And once if you're in, you can get some playing time for your young guys as the season progresses. But
Absolutely.
Definitely a shot.
Yeah, I think you were looking at Landry. Landry's 28.
Yes.
Whereas, Bobby Jones, 32 years old, and not the way a veteran like him wanted this season to go, but he wants to see if he can throw a moonshot down the sideline. Oh, had to swat it down more so than catch it.
Yeah, that was just a desperation attempt there, and that's it. The Crusaders will get the ball back.
That's right. Man, he hit him in the hands, though, again showing what kind of talent Bobby Jones has, even at 32 years old. Let's see if in his age 33 season, if he can come back and still be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. 5,000 yards, 30 touchdown passes, and he's still got a week to go.
And I was about to say, they still have 3 timeouts, so they're not 100% out of this game yet.
That's true. That's true. But, I mean, it's a tough field position here.
Because, I mean, even if they can hold Columbus to a field goal, they can get the ball and score a touchdown and win the game.
Well, this is the big one right here. 3rd and 5. See what Kenny Landry and company can do. Can they get a first down and close this thing out? Hands it off to Hayward.
And they hold him.
They did hold him. No, it's DeBose again. 4th and 2. Going to force him to kick the field goal. That is exactly what Columbus will do.
Yeah, definitely in field goal range. 42 seconds left. Go down and win this game.
Man, no timeouts, though. Tall order. And what a way to close out our SMASHMOUTH Saturday night season. We've been so grateful to have you here with us all season long. And the Railstorm going to try to pull a rabbit out of the hat here from the 28-yard line. No timeouts, 37 seconds. Jamal Watson having a great game. But per usual, even if he and Bobby Jones are playing well, they're somehow looking lopsided when they look up at the board.
And unfortunately, you see right there, he's got 77 yards on the ground. He's more than likely, big sack. You got to get up and run a play.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, he's more than likely not going to get 100 yards rushing tonight.
Throws one deep down the sideline, out of bounds, 3rd and 11, 15 seconds left. Tough way to wrap it up here in prime time for the Railstorm faithful. These Railheads were hoping for a win, but could not get it. It doesn't look like. Let's see. Ooh.
No, they don't take the Hail Mary shot.
One more play, 10 seconds.
Gets rid of the ball. He saw no one was open, and he figures, we do have one more chance here.
Hey, Bobby Jones, if anyone could do it, it's Bobby Jones, 6'6", 235, cannon for an arm. Nope, fires one over the middle that's swatted away.
That's going to be a ball game.
That's right, that is a ball game.
This was a heck of a game to end the season for SMASHMOUTH Saturday night.
Absolutely. Kenny Landry looking great in tonight's game. 2 touchdowns. Having a battle back and forth with a division rival, and that is going to do it. The Crusaders hold on and steal a road win to finish Week 17 with our last primetime game of the regular season. A gritty, gutsy performance. Landry might have just secured himself a training camp invite with the starting job on the line. What do you think of tonight's game, Back?
Tonight's game was amazing. I said it earlier whenever the lead was changing back and forth. And like you said, tonight is the last live SMASHMOUTH Saturday night of the regular season. There will be a full Saturday of football next week, and there will be an 8 o'clock game. It just will not be a live commentary with Skip and I.
And as sad as it is for you all, you do have a wrap, put a bow on this SMASHMOUTH season. Blowouts, buzzer beaters, sticky pickies, body bags. The league is delivered week in, week out. Big thanks to all the fans, the GMs, the commissioner, and a shout out to our partner at Dubby Energy, the only fuel we trust when it's 4th and go on a tough night in Omaha. We are off next week again to recharge before the playoffs, but get ready because when we come back, you will be on your road to the first ever Rivals Cup Championship. Don't unsubscribe. Don't blink, and for goodness sake, don't drink bad stuff. Drink the Dubby stuff. For Commissioner Back, I'm Skip Lloyd saying good night from Omaha. Keep it locked, keep it loud, and keep it SMASHMOUTH Saturday night.